All right, grab your pen and your notebook or your pencil, your paper, whatever. We're learning the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's the letter Tav. Let's dive in. Shalom, welcome to Scribe School. I'm Rob Van Hoff with Rob on the Rock, and we're going to learn the very last letter of the Hebrew alphabet here today. It's the letter Tav. Makes the T sound. Some cases maybe a TH, a th sound, but we'll just stick with T for now. And what we're looking at here is a opening page to the book of Exodus from the Washington Pentateuch. And I think I can zoom in here. I want you to be able to see the whole thing. Notice normally there are 3 columns per page, but it starts, Shemot starts at the top of the second page. That was a choice that the scribe made. So we're going to zoom in here and look at the very beginning of the book of Shemot. And it says, Ve'ele Shemot B'nai Yisrael. So now we know every letter here except this one letter right here. It's a letter Tav. And you can see it looks just like a resh or just like a bet. See the bet next to it for B'nai, but notice there's no bottom line. So it starts out with that stroke. It starts at the upper left, it goes across the top to the right, and then shifts and goes down. Just very similar to a bet or a resh, like we see down here see the word Israel, Israel. See this curve? Well, our Tav is going to start with the same. This slash up to the left, that is part of the accent tradition, the ta'amim. We're not looking at that. We're just looking at this shape that's just like a resh. And then we're going to add this vertical line on the left side and then put a little foot out. You see that? So we're going to start with a resh or a bet, the same stroke, and we're going to put the little leg on the left with its little foot. So here, let me pull up our dry erase board here, and let's give this a try. So here is my resh. Now with this, I could do, there's a resh. I could do a bet, right, like that. I could do a hey, like that, or I could even do a chet. So they all pretty much start with this same shape. But with the Tav, let's change colors. Let's do purple here. I'm going to start with that, and then I go like this, and I put that little leg on there. He starts in from the upper left, not at the very end. There's our Tav. I'm kind of creeping over to the side of the page here. Let's do some bigger ones. We'll do some ones in green, maybe a little bit bigger ink. Let's do that. That'll be cool. There you go. There's our Tav. As you can tell, I'm kind of sloppy here, but it's because I'm trying to go too slow. I think I write better when I'm writing fast. There you go. There's our Tav. And remember, when you practice making different sizes, it helps you with your motor skills. So like you can make some little ones like this down here. And don't worry if they're not perfect. You want to write a whole bunch of them, because the overall shape, you make a Tav inside a Tav, will be refined more and more the more you practice. But you want to get the basic strokes down, and you want to just practice it over and over and over again. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with taking your time and really focusing, right? There you go. Like that. And, you know, you can go back and forth between letters that are similar, like resh, bet, Tav, chet. You can do that to practice. But we see the Tav. The Tav is this guy. draw over these other ones, make them a little better. There you go. Now my width is varying a little bit here, but you get the point. It's going to be a standard letter width size. And the aesthetic of letter placement you will get eventually as you practice. So don't worry too much about it. There's our aleph, here's our bet, here's our gimel, dalet, hey, vav, zayin, chet, tet, yod, kaf, lamed. I'm getting way over there, aren't I? Mem, nun, samek, ayin, pei, tzadi. Now we have kuf, resh, sheen or seen, and tav. There you go. Now it's kind of sloppy there. And of course, you can take some time and work on your final forms. We have kaf sofit, of course. Remember, that looks like a dalet. We have mem sofit, nun sofit. We have, what else do we have? We have pei sofit and tzadi sofit. So all these are the letters of the Hebrew alphabet that we've been working on. Now let's look back at our Washington Pentateuch here, and let's just look at the letters, see which ones we recognize. So that's our Vav, and the two little dots, that's called the Shavah. That makes a Ve sound, Ve. Ele, Ve'ele. So Aleph, beautiful scribal work here, I think, for this manuscript of the Washington Pentateuch. This Pentateuch was acquired by the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. I have not seen it other than just these high-res images that are online. I've never been to that museum before, but I hope to one day see this in person. We have Vav, Aleph, and then here's a beautiful Lamed with a tall neck going way up, kind of like a giraffe or the Loch Ness Monster sticking his head out of the water there. Ve'ele, and then a hey. Ve'ele, that's a word, and it's and these. Ve is and, ele is these. Shemot, our next word is shemot, names of. So shemot means names of. It's shin, there's our lovely shin, a mem, vav, and then our tav. That's our letter for today. Shemot, ve'ele shemot. Now, the letters really run together here. There's not a lot of space, is there, between these words? Ve'ele shemot, and then we have bet, nun, yod, b'nei. That means sons of, or children of. Ve'ele shemot b'nei Yisrael. Sons of Israel. These are the names of the sons of Israel. So now, you know that in English tradition, which we get from the Greek translation of Exodus. Exodus means the way out. It means leaving, the exit, right? The way out of Egypt is implied. But in Hebrew, the name that the scribes give to this work is Ve'ele Shemot. Ve'ele Shemot. Why? Because it is the beginning of the book. Ve'ele Shemot. Later, it just became shortened to Shemot. We don't need the Ve'ele. We just call it Shemot. And that's from the second word here. And these are the names, the Shemot B'nai Israel. And that is it. So we see our nice letter Tav right here. Now, what we're going to do is look at our other manuscript that we've been looking at as we've learned the Hebrew letters. And here we're at the Great Isaiah Scroll. So we've gone back probably 1,100 years older. So we went back 1,000 years, probably maybe 1,000 to 1,100 years to see this manuscript. Now we're going to go back another 1,000 or 1,100 years even to look at this manuscript. Isn't that amazing? That this manuscript here is at midpoint in a timeline between us and this manuscript. It's just mind-blowing to me. But this is a section here. This is the end of what we call Isaiah 54, beginning of Isaiah 55. But for some reason, the scribe here ended Isaiah 54. Well, he ended the second to the last verse, and then he put this nice space in here, and he started what we would think is Isaiah 55 with the last verse from 54, which is Vezot Nachalat Avdei Adonai. And this is the inheritance of the servants of Adonai. So I think I'm as big as I can get here, but let's look at the letters. This is a Vav. That's a Zion. So see, the difference between a Vav and a Zion here is not much. The Zion has that little hook up there on the upper side here. But the Aleph, I bet you recognize that Aleph. But look at the Tav. That is a Tav. The Tav made here, if we just go back and contrast with what our newer way of making the Tav is, oops, where did I go here? That's going to be the way we learn it here. Tav, remember we make a resh and then we put the foot underneath. Well, in the Great Isaiah scroll, it's actually a smaller hook like that, and then the leg goes like this. So you can tell it's the same letter, right? Because it's not competing. There's no other letter that looks close to that. So it's not like you're going to misrecognize a letter. You see, but that is the way it was written 2,200 years ago. But what we're doing now is we are, adopting more of the Tiberian approach, which is this one that we've been doing, where it's more like the resh with the leg coming out from underneath the resh. So that's what's going on here. So it says Vezot, but the Aleph we can recognize. Vav, Zion, Aleph, Tav, Vezot, and this. And this. Now, we began looking at the Washington Pentateuch at the beginning of Exodus, looking at what we call a demonstrative pronoun, the plural. Ve'ele, and these. Ve'ele shemot. These are the names. Ve'ele shemot b'nei Yisrael. These are the names of the children of Israel. Here we have what we call the feminine singular demonstrative pronoun. Zot, this. This, and it's feminine. Vezot, Vav, Zion, Aleph, Tav. This, Nun, Chet, there's our Lamed. Lamed you should probably recognize fairly quickly. And then another Tav. Nachalat, Nachalat. This and this, the Nachalat, which is inheritance of, Nachala is inheritance, Nachalat, Avdei Adonai. So it's Ayin, Bet, Dalet, Yod, Yod, He, Vav, He. Vezot Nachalat Avdei Adonai. This is the inheritance of the servants of Adim, but it's in construct Avdei, the inheritance of the servants of Adonai. And it says V'tzidkatam me'iti, and their righteousness, Vav, Tzadi, Dalet, Kuf, and then another Tav, and a Mem Sofit. So this is the noun tzedakah, tzedakah, which is the word for righteousness. In Greek, it's dikaiosune is how that's translated. But tzidkatam, their righteousness, me'iti, is from me. Mem, Aleph, Tav, Yod. There's our Tav again. Me'iti, Ne'um, Adonai, declares Adonai. Now here's one of the places, Ne'um, where it means, thus saith the Lord, or thus saith the Lord. Ne'um, notice we would expect a Mem Sofit here. Notice like with V'tzidkatam, we have a Mem that looks like a nice Mem Sofit. How come Ne'um we don't? It's because in shorter words, for some reason, in shorter words that end in a mem, often the scribe of the great Isaiah scroll just used a regular mem. He did not always use a Mem Sofit. And this is one of the places we see that in action. But here we have, our focus is the Tav, of course. V'zot Nachalat Avdei Adonai. We have two Tavs. Zot, this, nachalat. That's the inheritance of Avdei Adonai. So let's go back to our little dry erase board here, and let's we'll write some more letters. Let's just have some fun here. Get an orange, nice big old orange tav here. There we go. There's a nice big tav for us. And we can write, maybe let's do some little brown tavs around the outside here. Tav, 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 tav inside a tav. And we'll do some Dead Sea Scroll tavs too, just to have that in our wheelhouse here. But we know that what we're looking for as we represent the Tiberian tradition is going to be this this guy like that. There you go. We've covered all the Hebrew letters. So let's do one more walk through our alphabet here. Let's use, we'll use this dark purple. I think that's a dark purple. See if I can start up. Oh wait, I want to start over a little bit more over here. There's our Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Tzadi, Kof, Resh, Shin. Oh, I thought I'd fit my Shin on there. Oh, I suppose I can. Shin. And finally, our letter today. Make it a little bigger. Tav. And of course, our final forms. Once again, we have Kaf and Kaf Sofit. We have our Mem and Mem Sofit. We have our Nun and Nun Sofit. We have our Pei and Pei Sofit, and our Tzadi and Tzadi Sofit. There you go. How's that? Have you done the whole adventure with me here? We can make this Tav extra special here. I'll give him some liner. Zoom in on him. There we go. We can give him some orange polka dot. Let's see. There you go. There's our celebratory Tav. Okay, one more look at that Washington Pentateuch. Ve'ele Shamot. There's our beautiful Tav right here. Ve'ele Shamot b'nei Yisrael. These are the names of the children of Israel. Haba'im Mitzrayma. Who coming out of Egypt et Yaakov with Jacob. There we have Aleph. See that Tav again. Ish uveto. A man and his house. See, Ish, Aleph, Yod, Shin. There's a Vav, Bet, Yod, Tav, Vav. Uveto, and his house. Ba'u. A man and his house came. That's the end of that first verse of Exodus chapter 1. All right, well done. Keep practicing. And as I continue to make videos for Scribe School in the future, I will plan to just bring specific vocab words up to the forefront, and we'll look at their spelling, and we'll start talking about some of the vowel points also that help us articulate these words and pronounce them accurately. All right. Shalom, everybody. Bye-bye.